Okay, good evening, everybody joining online. And I have shared in the chat, I don't know if everybody saw, I've shared the prayers because I will not be sharing them on my screen because we have these amazing printed copies here at the center, so I will read from there to spare my eyes also from reading on the screen too much. So to follow along, please look at the chat on Zoom, and there are links to the prayers. The first one we'll do is this one, the chanting the names of Arya Manjushri. But before we do that, of course, we'll, as always, take a moment to, arrive here on the cushion at Tushita and online in front of your device to take a moment to, come into the present moment and leaving our worries outside. We can do that by taking 3 deep breaths. Deep so that the stomach rises and falls every time we breathe in and out. As we breathe in, we try to refresh our attention. As we breathe out, we try to completely relax. We will also take a few minutes to practice shamatha, or calm abiding in English. So basically for 5 minutes we try to remain single-pointedly focused on a single object. If this is new for you, I would suggest to use the breathing sensation at the entrance of the nostrils as an object of meditation. Try to place all your focus on the feeling, the sensation that is there, the tactile sensation that is there when you breathe in and out. Perhaps as you breathe in, you observe that there is like a cooling sensation. As you breathe out, perhaps that air is a little bit warmer there. Try to focus on that as best as you can. Sitting with a straight back. You can imagine there is like a string pulling from the crown of your head, keeping your body upright, and sitting in the conducive meditation posture, Buddha-Varochana 7-point meditation posture, if you're familiar with that. Most important is for the back to be straight. Trying to focus for a few minutes on the breathing sensation and paying attention with introspection and mindfulness, noticing every time our mind gets distracted, every time we lose our object of meditation with mental excitement, mental laxity, excitement such as, thoughts about the past and the future, laxity, after a long day, perhaps now you're sitting, relaxing, you might, fall asleep, start daydreaming. So let us be very alert and notice whenever we get distracted. And every time we notice that we are distracted, we make sure to use the antidote of mindfulness to bring the mind back onto the object of meditation. Let us do this for about 3 minutes, and then we will do the prayers. Let us gently let go of the meditation, bringing our awareness back to the room we are sitting in, the cushion we are sitting on. And let us think for a moment of our intention, our motivation for coming here today and for joining online doing this session. Praying for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who was the co-founder of Tushita and the whole foundation for the preservation of the Mahayana tradition, which has about 130 centers, services and projects all around the world. So Rinpoche was the co-founder of all these centers, as well as the spiritual director, and in April 2 years ago, 2023, Lama Zopa Rinpoche showed the aspect of passing away. And you might, be aware that in the Tibetan culture, it is a tradition to find the reincarnation of such enlightened masters. For example, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, is known as the 14th Dalai Lama, the 14th incarnation of the Dalai Lama. So similarly, Lama Zopa Rinpoche was the reincarnation of the Laudo Lama. And now we are praying for, Rinpoche to come back in a new body, healthy body, and to continue, to expound the Dharma, give us teachings, and guide his disciples, guide his students, and hopefully as well lead a huge organization. Recently, a few months back, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who actually is taking responsibility, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, they were very close friends, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama was always very pleased, with all the activities of Lama Zopa Rinpoche around the world. So His Holiness the Dalai Lama has indicated that he is taking personal responsibility, helping us disciples to find and identify the unmistaken reincarnation of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And so the last 2+ years since Rinpoche entered his final meditation, His Holiness has been, doing regular observations, and divinations and so forth. And very recently, a few months back, His Holiness indicated that, there are signs that Rinpoche, the reincarnation of Rinpoche, has already taken rebirth in Nepal. Now, His Holiness is advising us to continue, reciting the prayers that we are about to do, because, until now we have not found that reincarnation. Even though there are signs that Rinpoche is reborn in Nepal, now we need to, create the causes, create the merits. We need to have the karma, the fortune to find the actual reincarnation. So this is why we are gathering here, online and in person, and let us also try to generate an even deeper intention and motivation for doing this session. So of course that is what is bringing us here, but more than that, as usual, whenever we do a Dharma practice, is, considering what is beyond this life. That is what Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to say, anything we do for the concern of this life is kind of mundane, worldly activities. But when we start thinking about future lives, the happiness of future lives, the concern of future lives, what happens after this life, then our practice, becomes dharma. So of course there are the different kinds of motivations. The 3 scopes. The first one, wishing, to have happy rebirths in the future by abandoning wrongdoings and engaging in virtuous acts. Then wishing to quit, samsara altogether, this vicious prison of our mind. that is the middle scope, wishing to achieve a state of freedom from our afflictions, our disturbing emotions, freedom from karma, freedom from this continuous cycle we've been trapped in since beginningless time, taking rebirth again and again and again and again without any control, and having all sorts of experiences in all those rebirths, dictated by the karmas we have accumulated in the past because of our disturbing emotions that are all rooted in the misconception that we have that things exist very solidly, very objectively, inherently, in and of themselves. In particular, we have that with the sense of I. We have a very strong sense of me, like a very solidly existing me, myself, I. Which makes us think, that we are like the center of the universe, that everything revolves around us, and that we are more important than others. If we check this, it's completely mistaken. There's a numberless, we are only one, and just like ourselves, every sentient being wants happiness and doesn't want to suffer. We all share that common aspiration, that common motivation. So this impression that we have, that we exist very solidly, that we are the center of the universe, more important than others, gives rise to all sorts of disturbing emotions such as attachment, desire, anger, jealousy, pride, hatred, anxiety, depression, and so on and so forth. And these disturbing emotions push us to engage in all sorts of actions, all sorts of karmas. Sometimes negative karmas, non-virtuous karmas such as killing, stealing, lying, divisive speech, harsh words, and so on and so forth. Sometimes we engage in good actions such as helping others, practicing generosity, and so forth, but even though these leave a positive imprint, they are virtuous karmas, these are contaminated by our innate misconception that things exist very solidly. For example, when we help someone, it is a very virtuous action to help someone, but the way we do it, apprehending ourselves as existing truly, very solidly, apprehending the recipient of our help as existing very independently, and our action of helping as well as being very inherently existing, then of course what is accumulated is a virtuous karma. It leaves a positive imprint on the mind, but the way this positive imprint will ripen is in the form of a pleasant experience within samsara, within cyclic existence, meaning we don't have control. We cannot choose. All the experiences that we are going through are dictated by the karmas we have accumulated in the past, sometimes pleasant experiences, unpleasant experiences, due to the numberless various kinds of karmas we have accumulated in the past. So let us wish to, break free from that vicious cycle. And let us try to also expand our wish to break free from that cycle, not only for ourselves, but recognizing that all sentient beings are in the same boat, continuously taking rebirth without any control, having all sorts of lives and experiences, sometimes born as a human, sometimes born as an animal, a preta, and so on and so forth. Sometimes with favorable conditions, sometimes suffering from poverty, sickness, living in countries at wars, being abused, and so on and so forth. So let us try to recognize that it is not only ourselves trapped in cyclic existence, but all dear sentient beings. Let us try to open our hearts to them. Let us try to generate a sense of compassion, wishing not only ourselves to be free from suffering, but all sentient beings who are having the same mental prison as we do. Let us wish for all beings to be free from suffering and the causes, which are the karmas and the disturbing emotions. Let us also try to generate a sense of responsibility, recognizing that at the moment we have what is called a precious human rebirth, not only being born as a human, but being born as a human with so many kinds of freedoms, endowments, having all our physical, mental abilities, living in a free country where the Dharma is available, teachers are available, there's a community of practitioners. Not only that, we are interested to look inwards, interested to look at our minds, interested to identify and eliminate the disturbing emotions, interested to purify our negative karmas and so forth. Having all these freedoms and endowments is extremely, extremely rare. I mean, we can see on the planet, I don't know how many inhabitants there are now, 8 billion something. How many, have a precious human rebirth? Very few. We can see this in Delhi, Delhi NCR, I think 33 million people are living, and how many, are actually interested to learn about the mind? How many are interested to, study, contemplate, meditate? Very, very less. So recognizing that we have all these opportunities, this precious life, let us generate a sense of responsibility for all those who don't. You can think of, animals or, people who are so busy making a living that there is no time to think, no time to contemplate. You can think of all those who are, suffering from sickness and so forth. Those who live in countries that are at war. So for them, let us generate a sense of responsibility. I myself will do the work of transforming my mind, purifying my disturbing emotions, my karmas, in order to liberate them from suffering. How can I do that? This is the third scope, the higher scope, which is to generate the precious mind of Bodhicitta, wishing to become a fully awakened being in order to guide them unmistakenly, to guide all sentient beings unmistakenly, just like the Buddha. Let us try to give rise to this beautiful mind, wishing to become a fully awakened Buddha in order to guide sentient beings unmistakenly. And with this motivation in mind, we will engage in the practice of, first of all, we'll recite chanting the names of Arya Manjushri. So again, for those who are joining online, I have shared the texts in the chat, so please open them. I will not share them on the screen. I will just share a photo of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, so that, we make use of these beautiful copies that we have here from our friends in Singapore. So I will read from the physical copy. So I hope all of you found the link in the chat and opened the first one, chanting the names of Noble Manjushri, and we'll start reading together on page 3. Chanting the names of Noble Manjushri. From the words of the Buddha. In Indian language, Arya Manjushri Namasangiti. In Tibetan, Paipa Jampel Kitsen Yangdak Parjopa. In English, chanting the names of the Noble Manjushri. Homage to ever youthful Manjushri. Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, supreme subduer of the heart to tame, the hero conquering the triple world, the Vajra lord and master of all secrets, with eyes wide open like white lotuses, his face just like a lily in full bloom, while shaking in his hands repeatedly a Vajra of the highest excellence, accompanied by countless Vajrapanis, with features such as fierce, turbulent brows, subduers of the heart to tame, heroes appearing with heroic hideous forms, brandishing in their hands their mighty Vajras, the tips of which emit intensive light, great benefactors to all living beings, through skill, through insight, and through great compassion, with pleased and happy attitudes, with joy, their bodies those of wrathful deities, protectors who assist the Buddha's deeds, their bodies bowing reverentially, paid homage to the true awakened one, protector, blessed one, Tathagata, and joining his two palms respectfully, he said before the Lord the following, O omnipresent Lord, for my well-being, with due concern for me and for my sake, that I may reach complete awakening upon the basis of illusion's net, and for the sake of every living being, sunk deep into the mud of ignorance, through their thoughts disturbed by various afflictions, so that they may obtain the highest fruit, may you, the most supreme awakened one, the blessed one, the world's guru and teacher, who knows the great Samaya's reality, aware of wishes and abilities, reveal to us the great name, chanting the wisdom body of the Blessed One, the great Ushnisha, master of all speech, the self-arising wisdom emanation, the wisdom deity called Manjushri, these names with meaning both profound and vast, of great significance unmatched, serene, with goodness at their start, middle, and end, proclaimed by Buddhas of the eons past, and to be taught by Buddhas yet to come, and taught not once but time and time again by all the Buddhas of the present age, which were respectfully recited in illusion's net, the Tantra most supreme, by multitudes of mighty Vajrapanis, the joyous guardians of secret mantras. Just this I shall uphold with firm resolve until I reach my final liberation, so that I may become, O great protector, the bearer of the Buddha's every secret, and this I shall reveal to living beings according to each one's capacity, in order that afflictions may be quelled, so ignorance may be fully dispelled. With this request to the Tathagata, the master of all secrets, Vajrapani, his body bowed, his palms politely joined, then stood before the Lord devotedly. And so the Blessed One, Lord Shakyamuni, the best of men, the fully awakened one, extending from his mouth his handsome tongue, a tongue unmatched in both its breadth and length, displaying a gentle smile to living beings, a smile that fills the threefold world with light, that tames the enemy, the four maras, that ends unwanted birth in all three forms, his voice melodious like that of Brahma, completely filling all the triple world, replied as follows to the Lord of Secrets, to Vajrapani, the strongest of the strong, that you, abounding in supreme compassion and aiming to assist all living beings, are willing and prepared to hear from me this evil-quelling, purifying chanting, the chanting of the names so filled with meaning of Manjushri's embodiment of wisdom. How truly excellent, O Vajradhara, how excellent of you, O Vajrapani. And so I shall, O Master of all secrets, reveal just that to you most splendidly. With single-minded focus, listen well. How excellent, responded Vajrapani, so truly excellent, O Blessed One. And then the Blessed One, Lord Shakyamuni, surveyed in full the family great with mantras, the family of the Vidyas and the mantras, the family that is threefold by its nature, the family of and yet beyond the world, the family great in brightening the world, the foremost family of Mahamudra, and so the family great with great Ushnishas. And then about the Lord of Speech he spoke these verses, which include singly mantras, which manifest from non-duality, which bear the quality of non-arising. A, I, U, E, O, Ama, Shtito, Shri, Shnana, Murtir, Aham, Buddho, Buddhanam, Triyadva, Vartinam, Om, Vajra, Tikshna, Dhukha, Cheda, Prajna, Jnana, Murtaye, Jnana, Kaya, Vagi, Svarha, Arapachanaya, Tinhama. And so he is the Blessed One, the Buddha, awakened fully, born of the letter A. He is the letter A, the foremost phoneme, supreme most syllable, with meaning great, arising from great vital force, unborn, beyond expression based on words or speech, the foremost cause of every form of speech, the shining forth of every kind of language, great feast which takes the form of great passion, producing bliss in every sentient being, great feast which takes the form of great anger, great enemy of every mental poison, great feast who is by nature a great delusion, delusion's vanquisher for deluded minds, great feast who is in essence great fury, great adversary to all furrishness, great feast who takes the form of great desire, who vanquishes desire in all forms. He is the great carnal lust, he is great bliss, he is great happiness, he is great joy, with great appearance bearing form supreme, with great complexion marked by great physique, with great renown the great munificent one, his mandala voluminous and great, the bearer of the mighty sword of wisdom, the foremost god for taming great afflictions, possessing great renown, his glory great, his brightness great, his lustrous most supreme, with wise upholder of the great illusion, fulfiller of the great illusion's aims, enraptured by the great illusion's rapture, the great illusion's great illusionist, the foremost lord of great munificence, supreme upholder of great discipline, intense supporter of great tolerance, with valor rooted in great diligence, samadhi resting through great meditation, endowed with bodies flowing from great wisdom, both great in strength and great in skillful means, a brimming ocean filled with vows and knowledge, by nature great in kindness, limitless, the foremost mind, enriched by great compassion, of great insight, of great intelligence, great dexterous one, with methods ever great, commanding powers and great miracles, with driving force supreme, with speed unmatched, renowned great lord of foremost majesty, most valorous owing to his great might, destroying the massive mountain of becoming, unyielding, holding strong and massive Vajra, great terrifying lord, the great cruel one, provoking fear in great and daunting creatures, protector as the greatest of all Vidyas, the guru as the greatest of all mantras, traversing well the Mahayana's path, himself the Mahayana's foremost way. He is Mahavairochana the Buddha, great sage observing great and sensitive silence, arising from the great mantra way. He is at the heart the great mantra way, accomplished in the 10 paramitas, having the 10 paramitas as home, in whom the 10 paramitas are pure, for whom the 10 paramitas are means, protector reigning over all 10 grounds, residing steadily on all 10 grounds, made pure in nature by the tenfold knowledge, maintaining purity through tenfold knowledge, with tenfold forms intent on tenfold content, with tenfold strength pervasive lord of sages, achieving every aim for every being, endowed with tenfold mastery supreme, beginningless, complexity devoid, by nature pure, reality in essence, unwavering, a speaker of the truth, with speech and actions perfectly aligned, a teacher of the non-dual truth, non-dual, atop reality's most lofty peak, with selflessness in his wide life's roar, instilling fear in deer-like misled seekers, with journeys truthful, traveling everywhere, as swift as though in all Tathagatas, a victor, slayer of foes, triumphant lord, a universal king with forces great, assembly head instructor for assemblies, assembly lord, assembly chief, the ruler, most influential, bearing precious burdens, no other bound, his way the greatest way. The lord of speech, the master of expression, most skilled in words, adept with language, truthful, with boundless words, the teacher of the truth, providing teachings on the fourfold truth, not coming back, not turning round rhino. The leader of the Pratikya Buddhas, gone forth by going forth in different ways, the single cause of all great elements, Arhat, Bhikshu, defilements exhausted, devoid of passion, master of the senses, arrived at comfort, met with security, for he having cooled down is free from stains, equipped in full with knowledge and its base, a Sugata, best knower of the world, not thinking me, not clinging on to mine, established in the system of the two truths, upon the edge of cycling life's far shore, with deeds accomplished, resting on a bank, emerging from untamed lone awareness, with sword-like insight ever penetrating, the sun, the Dharma king, the noble Dharma, supreme eliminator of the world, the Dharma lord, the sovereign of the Dharma, and the teacher of the path to excellence, accomplishing all goals, fulfilling aims, completely free from wants of any kind, bereft of thought and non-depleting source, the Dharma source, supreme beyond decay, enriched by merit, merit's gathering, unique great wisdom, wisdom rich, aware of what exists and what does not, while gathering the twofold gathering, eternal yogin, king of everywhere, the object of the mind of concentration, the master of intelligent reflection, For by oneself alone is he experienced, immovable, the ultimate beginning, the holder of the three enlightened bodies. The Buddha, formed of 5 embodiments, the omnipresent, made of 5 wisdoms, his diadem with 5 awakened ones, with all 5 eyes maintaining non-attachment, the great progenitor of all the Buddha's eminent and foremost son, arising from the world of true insight, the sourceless Dharma soul's existing ending. Comprised of Vajras, holy dense and firm, the newborn sovereign ruler of the world, emerging from the sky, the self-arisen, a massive blaze of knowledge and of insight, illuminating a beacon of great light, a lamp of wisdom shining brilliantly, a light for beings, a lantern unto wisdom, with energy supreme most radiant, the Vidya King, the greatest mantra's Lord, the Mantra King achieving noble aims, the great Ushnisha, marvelous Ushnisha, the Lord of space, revealer of all things, the best embodiment of every Buddha, with eyes the joy of every living being, creator manifesting varied forms, great sage, deserving praise, deserving worship, a mandarin born unto the triple family, upholding mantras of the foremost pledge, the greatest bearer of the triple gem, who teaches all 3 peerless vehicles, with snare unfailing, most victorious, the snatcher of ever great, the Vajra snare, the Vajra hook, the snare of excellence, called Vajra Bharava, he is terrific, 6-faced, the king of anger, hideous, 6-eyed, 6-armed, the ever-powerful, bearing his terrible fang a skeleton, Hala Hala, 100 faces proud, the Yama killer, ruling obstacles, instilling fear with Vajra impetus, the Vajra-hearted, famous for his Vajra, with belly large, with Vajras of illusion, the Vajra-born, the sovereign of the Vajra, akin to space, his core comprised of Vajras, unmoving, haughty with his single dreadlock, his clothes an elephant's raw hide still moist, the great terrific one who cries, ha ha, who screams, he, instilling fervent fear, his laugh a screaming laugh, a booming laugh, he is the Vajra laugh, the mighty whole. He is the noble Sattva, Vajrasattva, the Vajra sovereign lord, the highest bliss, the Vajra's wrathfulness, the highest joy, intoning hums of Vajra Humkara, with Vajra arrows serving as his weapon, his sword comprised of Vajras slashing all, upholding every Vajra, Vajra bearing, with just a single Vajra ending strife, with eyes like Vajra fire, truly dreadful. His hair that's like a Vajra set ablaze, immersion of the Vajra, great immersion, with eyes like Vajra's eyes 100-fold, with Vajra hairs that sprout upon his body, his unique figure marked by Vajra hairs, with nails advancing Vajras at their tips, with skin that's solid like a Vajra's core, the splendid master adorning Vajra garlands, adorned with Vajra fashion ornaments, with booming voice his laughter crying ha ha, 6-syllable producing Vajra rumbles. Great Manjushri sounds supremely loud, a roar unique unto the threefold world, the voice that reaches every bound of space, preeminent amongst all voice and doubt. He is a being whose fully realized truth, reality, its peak and selflessness, supreme in propagating emptiness, unspoken, teaching both the deep and vast, the Dharma conch emitting piercing sound, the Dharma gong which lasting resonance, arriving at unbound and liberation. He is the Dharma drum in all directions. Without a form, with handsome forms supreme, replete with forms diverse, comprised of mind, with splendor shining through his every form, with all reflections under his control, invincible, renowned as Lord Supreme, the Lord Supreme who rules the threefold world, abiding on noble's lofty path, the great source of flourishing, the Dharma's crown, with youthful form unique unto all worlds, the elder, senior, father of all beings, adorned with 32 auspicious marks, most beautiful, most handsome in all worlds. The teacher teaching mundane good and knowledge, the teacher to all beings most confident, the world's most trusted guide, protector, savior, the refuge unsurpassed, the guardian, with rich enjoyments filling all of space, the knowledge ocean of omniscient beings, by smashing through the shell of ignorance, and breaking through the cage of cyclic life, the thorough queller of intense affliction, arriving at samsara's opposite shore, his crown the crown of wisdom consecration, his ornaments comprising perfect Buddhas, the soother of the pain of threefold pain, the ender of the trio ending free, arriving at the threefold liberation, completely free of every obscuration, having achieved equality sky-like, beyond the stains of every last affliction, aware of timelessness in all 3 times, most eminent amongst all sentient beings, the crown amongst those crowned by noble virtues. From every kind of substrate, established firmly on the path of space, a splendid wish-fulfilling jewel in hand, the best of all that's precious, omnipresent, great wish-fulfilling tree, most plentiful, the greatest of all great auspicious vases, fulfilling the aims of living beings, a doer, an ally, most beloved to all creatures, aware of good and bad, aware of times, the omnipotent knower of the pledges, upholding pledges, conscious of occasions, awake to varied aptitudes of beings, with expertise in threefold liberation, with virtues, knowing Dharma, auspicious source of all auspiciousness, of all auspicious things the most auspicious, great splendor, glory, good, most prosperous, great reassurance, foremost celebration, great joyousness, the highest form of pleasure, abundance, reverence, action venerable, great happiness, the noble lord of splendor, the greatest granter of all wishes, wished for, the highest source of refuge, refuge granting, the fearsome enemy of potent danger, alleviating danger in all forms, with tufts of hair, with plumes of luscious hair, with matted locks court tied, 5 face with 5 hair tufts, his head well crowned, his head adorned with garlands of 5 strands, upholding great observances, head shaven, the foremost of observances, chaste student, with great austerities, perfected fully, he is the greatest bather Gautama, a Brahmin, Brahma, knower of Brahman, arrived in full at Brahman Nirvana, awakening its branches, liberation, release from tranquility, quiescence. Nirvana, peacefulness, tranquility, approaching graceful entry to Nirvana, the culmination, ending pain and pleasure, the state devoid of passion, free from substrates, beyond defeat, unmanifest, unmatched, not making manifest, appearance free, pervasive, timeless, fully omnipresent, minute, beyond defilements, seed-free, and state devoid of passion, passionless, controlling humors, free from every illness, by nature most awakened, fully awake, omniscient, knowing everything, supreme, beyond reality as consciousness, pristine awareness bearing non-dual form, beyond conceptualization, effort-free, acting as Buddhas do in every age, the Buddha endless and beginningless, the Buddha at the start devoid of sequence, with wisdom as his only eye, unstained, the Tathagata with wisdom as his body, the sovereign of all language, great debater, the king of discourse, best of orators, the best and greatest of communicators, the unsasailable lion speech, with unrivaled vision, true delight, with fire garlands, handsome to behold, the endless knot, most radiant, grace lustrous, with shining rays in hand, providing light. We are at verse 103, page 19. The best and foremost of all great physicians, unequaled in removing thorns of pain, a tree providing medicine for all, a foe opposing every malady, the lovely crowning jewel of all 3 worlds, a cluster of the stars most glorious, the end of space in all its 10 directions, the hoisting high of Dharma's victory flag, sharing one large umbrella with the world, with love and kindness as his mandala, the celebrated lotus lord of dance, pervasive with his precious parasol, the blazing energy of all the Buddhas, with bodies fully shared by all the Buddhas, the highest union formed with all the Buddhas, the single teaching taught by all the Buddhas, most glorious with Vajraratna's blessing, the highest sovereign lord of Sarvaratna, the king of supreme Sarvalokeshvara, the Lord of High Sarva Vachatara, the quintessential mind of Sarva Buddha, residing in the mind of every Buddha, the greatest body born by every Buddha, the lovely speech enriching every Buddha, the scorching brightness from the Vajra sun, with stainless lustrous from the Vajra moon, great passion of the passionless and others, with multicolored rays that brightly blitz. The perfect Buddha's perfect Vajra posture, retaining for all beings the Buddha's Dharma, the Lotus Buddha's celebrated son, the knower for the omniscient, the sovereign king controlling all illusions, the foremost master of the Buddha's spells, called Vajratikshna, sword supremely mighty, completely pure, the highest syllable. Atop pain's remedy, the Mahayana, with Vajra Dharma as his mighty weapon, with Vajra depth renowned as Jina Jik, with Vajra thought aware of how things are, pervading all perfections perfectly. Adorned by all the grounds of bodhisattvas, the selflessness of pure phenomena, with luscious that is moonlight unto knowledge, with great endeavors as illusory nets, the foremost master ruling every tantra, endowed in full with every Vajra posture, completely furnished with all wisdom bodies, completely good with intellect supreme, the embryo of earth sustaining beings, great embryo from which all Buddhas form, with emanation, circles most diverse, the highest nature of all entities, supportive of the nature of all things, with goals for all, with dharmas under reason, supportive of the nature of all dharmas, with full awareness of phenomena, in but an instant of the wisest sage, with vivid realization of all dharmas. He is a sage, the greatest intellect, the vanquisher of hosts of evil spirits, unwavering, completely pure in nature, grasping the wakefulness of perfect Buddhas, the direct realization of all Buddhas. He is the fame of wisdom, luminous, the great fulfiller of desired aims, the purifier of evil states, the greatest of all living beings, protector, the earnest liberator of all creatures, unrivaled knight in battle with afflictions, humiliating ignorance, his foe, the celebrated mind of amorousness, endowed with forms heroic and repulsive, the dancer moving to and fro his hundreds of lengthy arms while setting down his stride, the dancer spreading through the whole of space and filling it with stream-right 100 arms, stood tall atop the surface of the earth, the soul of just 1 foot pervading all, stood tall atop the summit of the world, the nail of his big toe suppressing all, whose aim is one, whose aim is non-dual Dharma, whose aim is ultimate beyond destruction, whose mind consists in groups of consciousness, with varied objects, forms, and cognizance, amused with every object of existence, a mind of passion, loving emptiness, transcending worldly passion and the like, with great enjoyment for the threefold world, with fair complexion with like pristine clouds, with radiance like beams from autumn moons, the lustrous rippling with the morning sun, with nails emitting light of crimson red, with handsome crown as sterling sapphires, whose hair has tips of sapphire deep blue, with glory from the light of his great jewel, adorned with emanations of the Buddhas, the shaker of 100 worldly beings. Reality with mindfulness supreme, Samadhi king of fourfold mindfulness. Infused with sands from bloom on body's branches, an ocean of Tathagata virtues, with knowledge of the Eightfold Path true way, with knowledge of the path of perfect Buddhas, the great attachment of all living beings, attachment-free, comparable to space, and springing up in every creature's mind, he is for every being as swift as mine, aware of all the aptitudes of beings, while captivating every creature's mind, with insight into aggravated natures, himself with fully pure 5 aggregates, atop the peak of every going forth, most skilling going forth in every way, established on all paths of going forth, the teacher of all forms of going forth, uprooting all, becoming with 12 links, endowed with purity in all 12 forms, is formed the way of fourfold noble truth, with realization of the eightfold knowledge, with meaning of the truths in 10-fold, aware of suchness in 16 forms, with true awakening in 20 forms, awakened fully knowing all supreme, dispatching countless sets of some 10 million embodiments of emanating Buddhas, the final realization of all moments, who knows each moment's object for all minds, and manifesting for the sake of beings, with means derived from varied vehicles, gone forth by way of all 3 vehicles, remaining in a single vehicle's fruit, is purified afflictive spheres at heart, annihilating every karmic sphere, arrived atop dry land from flooding oceans, emerged from yoga's perilous dark growth, released from general, minor, and complete afflictions and their latent tendencies, with insights, means, and foremost empathy, achieving fruitful aims for living beings, abiding object-free through all perceptions, with consciousness as object with cessation, with every being of the object of his mind, with knowledge as the mind of all the Buddhas, residing in the mind of every being, having become their mind's equality, and satisfying the mind of every being, he is for every being great in a joy, confusion-free regarding points of doctrine, completely free from error in all its forms, his thinking free from doubt, his object threefold, his object all 3 properties by nature, throughout 3 times the content of 5 skandhas, discerning clearly each and every moment, awakening in but a single moment, his basic nature equal to all Buddhas, with body is bodiless, the best of bodies, with displaying his form in every possible way. He is the greatest stone, the precious gem. What all the perfect Buddhas are to know, the Buddha's unsurpassed awakening, devoid of syllables yet born of mantra, arising from great mantra's threefold family, the father to the meaning of all mantras, the greatest Bindu void of syllables, with 5 great syllables, great empty one, 100 syllable devoid of Bindu, endowed with every form yet free from form, supporting half of 16 Bindus, transcending every grouping, void of members, sustaining jhana's 4th and final peak, aware of jhanas each and every aspect, with knowledge of samadhi's types and families, the best of bodies, body of samadhi, the sovereign king of all enjoyment bodies, the best of bodies, emanation body, the hair of emanations to the Buddhas, with varied emanations everywhere, while benefiting all, however needed, the sovereign of the gods, the god of gods, Asura Lord, the ruler of immortals, the king of deities, the god's guru, the highest of Lord, Pramata's Pramata, emerged from cyclic the single teacher, guru for all beings, the every well-known world, in all directions, the eminent bestower of the Dharma, concealed by armor made of loving kindness, well shielded by the shield of empathy, with wisdom sword in hand, with bow and arrow, concluding war with ignorance and clashes, the Mara's enemy and tamer, hero, eliminating threats from all four Maras, defeating all the armies of the Maras, the guide for living beings, the perfect Buddha, deserving homage, worthy of respect, deserving reverence, always honorable, deserving worship, worthy of regard, the highest Guru ever venerable, traversing all three worlds in just one stride, his step extending past the bounds of space, with knowledge of the three, well versed and pure, with sixfold higher knowledge and recall, the Bodhisattva and Mahasattva with power great, transcending worldly life, perfected by his excellence of insight, now unified with insight's highest nature, the whole aware of self, aware of other, for fit for all, surpassing all to which he is compared, supreme most Lord of knowing, the foremost master of imparting Dharma, who shows the meaning of the fourfold seal, the most revered amongst all living beings, engaged in going forth on all three paths, with glory purified by ultimate truth, most fortunate within the threefold world, the celebrated souls of all endowments, supreme among the glorious Manjushri. Homage to you, Boon Granter, best of Vajra, all summit of excellence, homage to you. Homage to you, whose source is emptiness, O Buddhas of awakening, homage to you. O passion of the Buddhas, homage to you. Desire of the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O love of every Buddha, homage to you. The joy of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O smile of every Buddha, homage to you. The laugh of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. O speech of every Buddha, homage to you. The heart of all the Buddhas, I pay you homage. A reason from non-being, homage to you. Homage to you, a reason from the Buddhas. A reason from the sky, homage to you, born of pristine wisdom. O net of illusion, homage to you, the Buddha's spectacle. Homage to you, the everything of all. O body of wisdom, homage to you. Om Sarva Dharma Bhava Swabhava Vishuddha Vaja Prakirti Parishuddha Sarva Dharma Ayuruta Sarva Tathagata Jnanakaya Manjushri Parishuddhidham Upadayati Sarva Tathagata Hridayam Hara Hara Om Hum Hri Bhagavan Jnanamurti Vajishvara Mahavacha Sarva Dharma Gaganamala Suparishuddha Dharma Dhatu Jnanagarva. Then Vajradhara, ever glorious, most pleased and satisfied, with folded palms, prostrated to the Buddha, the noble God, the Blessed One, the Lord Tathagata, and with a host of other Vajrapanis, of varied forms, the Lord of Kuyakas, sublime protectors, noble rightful kings, he then exclaimed his ever-present praise. Protector, rejoice, how excellent what you have clearly taught, which leads to true and full awakening. And so the aims of helpless mundane beings, who seek the fruit of perfect liberation, just this is taught in the Maya Jala, is the noble path that leads to excellence, with largeness, vastness, and profundity, with meaning great, which living beings' aims. Just this comprises every Buddha's sphere. Just this is taught by all awakened ones. So next we will turn to the prayers for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. That's the other golden booklet here, and online is the second link. I'll just share the links again in the chat just in case people just joined. So the first prayer that we'll recite was composed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama for us to recite. His Holiness composed this prayer just very, very soon after Rinpoche showed the aspect of passing away, and so this prayer has been, recited in many monasteries and Dharma centers around the world ever since. So we are on page 5. Peerless teacher, an assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratikya Buddhas, victorious Losong, father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make request. By striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings you suddenly departed to peace, what a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great ways of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. And the second one, composed by Jado Rinpoche, you might have seen, especially, in the past, whenever His Holiness was, doing the Kala Chakra empowerments. Especially in India, it happened so many times, in Bodh Gaya, in Bihar. And Jado Rinpoche was always, the main tantric ritual master, assisting His Holiness. And actually, nowadays, for example, every 20 years, there is a cycle of teachings that is being given, tantric teachings, by His Holiness. But this year, it was given by Jado Rinpoche, he's like the... and also was very close to Lama Zopa Rinpoche. So he also composed a prayer for us to recite, to pray for Rinpoche to come back. Page 9. Patient in bearing the hardships of spreading the teachings of the Muni in general, and the teachings of the victorious Jamon Tsongkhapa in hundreds of directions, Lord of Dharma, holding the three vows and wearing saffron robes, please quickly return as the glory of the peerless teachings. You held the teachings of explanation and practice with great asceticism, unable to bear that transmigratory beings are confused by the darkness of suffering. Through great loving kindness, you skillfully led them to happiness. Unparalleled Son of the teachings, please return quickly, beautified by the ornament of supreme patience in increasing the practice of the supreme authentic teachings of the Victorious One, through listening, reflection, and meditation, guide of all transmigratory beings along the perfect path, true and perfect pure Guru, please return quickly. Then the next one was composed by Kajola. Actually, when when Rinpoche took the aspect of passing away, she was here in India, and she flew to Kathmandu, immediately to be with Rinpoche's body in his final meditation, and with all the disciples who came from all over the world. And while she was in the plane, these words like spontaneously came to her mind, and she wrote them down for us to recite. Kajola, for those who are not familiar, she's one of the oracles of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and she was a very close, dear friend of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and a very special being and teacher. And she's seen by many as like emanation of Aryatara or Vajrayogini or a Dakini, or female Buddha in human form, So this is on page 12. This beautiful prayer that she composed. Guru, think of me. Guru, consider me. Most gracious root Guru, care for me. Most gracious root Guru, do not deprive us of your compassionate refuge. Listen and consider this heartfelt prayer made by a tormented disciple. Guru, embodiment of the Buddhas of the three times, please bless me. You may rest in all-pervading great bliss, equipoised within a dhatu of unpeded luminosity. Yet the playful dance of your loving compassion emanates in myriad ways. The time has come for the return of the swift appearance of your magical wisdom, the Rupakaya, and for you to care for us once again with your affectionate compassion. Arise, arise, arise from the Dharmakaya. I invoke you, I call upon you, I implore you on behalf of all beings. Do not rest in Kechara or at the pure realms. Rather, to benefit the Buddha's teachings and all living beings, swiftly return to the southern continent to spread the Buddha Dharma of study and realization. Quickly return to guide us poor wretched beings, such as the desperate cry of us, your disciples. Return so that we may actually behold your presence and receive the blessings of your body, speech, and mind. All violations, errors, mistakes, and broken samaya that we have made in relation to your body, speech, mind, and spontaneous activity, through our being deceived and confused by erroneous ways, we confess within the luminous emptiness of your three kayas. Of everything auspicious, the supreme auspiciousness, may there be the auspiciousness of emptiness and compassion. May there be the auspiciousness of a timely meeting between master and disciples. Through the force of the truth of unchanging suchness, may the unmistaken incarnation return quickly. This lament was made by me, a Dakini with pure faith and smaya, her eyes filled with tears of sorrow. May these wishes of a beggar woman be fulfilled through the blessings of the deities of the three roots. Perception, its subject, and the perceiver all dissolve within the expanse, the blissful clarity of suchness. And actually, Kadro Rinpoche, if you ever have the chance to go to Kathmandu, she's building for the last, I think, 2-3 years, 2, 3, 4 years, something like that. She's building a huge temple in Kathmandu for practitioners. These teachings that Jadro Rinpoche has given now after 20 years, that His Holiness used to give every 20 years. They are teachings by the 5th Dalai Lama. And Kajola, she has, ever since she was a young child in Tibet, she had visions of building this huge temple for students, disciples to practice those teachings there. So if you ever have the chance, to go to Kathmandu and visit that place, is really incredible. It feels like, how to say, because the land itself doesn't seem so big, yet this huge temple is coming out, it's like, seems like a miracle almost. Yeah, and it's coming out very fast and very beautifully. So if you ever have the chance to visit. Next, the recent advice that His Holiness gave is for us to recite the Miktsema. So this is the 3rd link for those who are joining online. And here it's the loose sheet. And what we can do is recite it once in English, so we can familiarize ourselves with the meaning. And then we can chant it twice in Tibetan. And when we chant it in Tibetan, just for the sake of the melody, we skip the 3rd line. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-objectifying compassion, Manjushri, master of stainless wisdom, lord of secrets, destroyer of the entire host of Maras, Tsongkhapa, crown almond of the sages of the land of snow, Lo Sondrapa, at your feet I make request. Mi me tse we te che che re zi, je me kyabje wan bo jambe yang ganje ngebe tsu gen zong gaba lo san jabe jala se wade me tse we te je re zi je me kyabje wan bo jambe yang ganje gyebe tsu gen zong gaba lo san jabe jala se wade. Actually, this praise was composed by Lama Tsongkhapa himself for his own teacher, his own guru. And when he offered the praise to his teacher said, this applies to you better, this you should change the word and put your name there. And ever since, in Tibet, it's a very popular prayer, that is being chanted all over Tibet, in the 3 provinces, and praising Lama Tsongkhapa.
Who was his teacher?
I don't remember the name of his teacher. Do you know?
I remember Rikesh again.
Yeah.
And it's got such a beautiful tune as well.
Yeah.
It's one of those that just get stuck
Yes.
in my mind. I keep listening to different versions of it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, there are many different ways to chant it.
Lovely sound.
Yeah.
It's really like the song. Like I use it as background music. Please do share. It's really lovely. Yeah, share.
Every year, shortly after Losar, there is the great prayer festivals, the Mönlam Chenmo. And few years back, I attended one in Kathmandu with all, the monasteries gathering together in a huge, huge temple. And like at the end of every session, we would chant this This praise very, very loud, It felt like almost like, but it was so beautiful, like shouting,
I remember one time Geshe-la also did it. I think it was Buddha Jayanti or one of the festivals.
Oh,
I
yes.
think when we gathered in the garden outside, and like how everyone's voices just slowly keeps on rising, and how it just becomes louder and
Becomes
louder.
very loud,
So it really gives you goosebumps.
Okay, so let us also, take a moment to dedicate our practice. We prayed for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, having meditated on shamatha at the beginning and trying to generate bodhicitta before we recited the prayers. Reciting all these prayers as well as all the merits we have accumulated in the past, all the merits we'll accumulate in the future. Let us dedicate all that energy so that we may soon, very soon, become fully awakened Buddhas and be able to guide each and every sentient being without leaving a single mosquito aside. Due to all these merits, may the precious minds of bodhicitta and wisdom that realizes emptiness that have already started to arise in us never diminish but increase forevermore. Let us also pray for the long and healthy life of all our spiritual teachers. And in particular, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. May His Holiness have a very long and healthy life. And may he continue to teach the Dharma of Buddha Shakyamuni for a very long time and guide his students, disciples all around the world for a very long time. Due to all these merits, may the wars that are happening around the world immediately come to an end. May there be no new war. May there be no famine. May there be no epidemic. May there be no financial disaster, financial crisis, and catastrophes of the elements, natural disasters. May peace and happiness prevail in everybody's hearts and lives. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining these prayers. And for those who are here, yesterday we received new books that are for free distribution. Please collect them in the staircase for you or your friends, your families. So we have already a book from Lama Yeshe. That is actually a double book that we printed. How to making your mind an ocean and becoming your own therapist. And now we have two books from Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Virtue and Reality, Method and Wisdom in the Practice of the Dharma, and How Things Exist, Teachings on Emptiness. So please collect copies in the staircase, and people joining us online, whenever you come to the center, please take copies of these books. And we will see you tomorrow for the online debate class, 6:30 p.m. Only online. And next week, we are welcoming again Arya Vidya Ji, who's a very experienced, meditator. And he will lead a meditation on Monday evening, 6:30 p.m. Then on Tuesday, we should have a Dharma movie. It's been a long time we didn't have a movie here. So we'll show a Dharma movie and perhaps have a little discussion also. Then in October, we have visiting teachers. 11th of October, that's a Saturday, we have Venerable Thubten, who's a Brazilian monk who was very, very close to Lama Zopa Rinpoche and was a very inspiring monk. So I'm really looking forward for him to give us a talk on, he's going to give us tips, for practicing in daily life, especially in our busy lives and with, how to manage stress, anxiety, these kind of things. And then on the 21st of October, we have Venerable Carson, who's coming back. He came a few months back. Not sure yet what he's going to teach. That's a Tuesday 21st. Yeah, the next day after Diwali. Yeah. Initially we thought the Monday, but with Diwali, maybe better the Tuesday. So we look forward to welcome you for that, and also normally October we'll welcome Venerable Geshe Dorji Dandul again, hopefully, to teach on this precious, text on impermanence from Pabongka Rinpoche, hopefully. Let us pray for that. And also Kyabje will come back at the end of October for 2 days to continue teachings on the sutra, Lalita Vistara Sutra. Yeah. He will continue that. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.